All right. Back again on a Monday.
Finally,
it should be
a normal Monday 5 o'clock show. And I'm glad that you remember to click us back in because I wasn't paying attention.
Well, I noticed usually you handle that, and it was like, well, and I gotta have to fix this focus issue. I've got focus issues. But that's not important tonight. But no, we are here once again to talk movies. So exciting. We gather together with friends and family to talk about cinema. Episode 108 of the
my old address
festival.
That was my old address, 108 Rama Road.
Oh, well, there you go. You can stop by.
And that was the temperature here today.
34th movie tonight. This is exciting. This is also
we've done a gross. We've done a gross of movies.
That is gross. Is that a gross?
144 is a gross.
I had no idea.
I don't know why it's called that, but somebody could tell us.
And it's
Where's
the
Dave?
last.
Dave knows.
I bet you Dave knows. And it's our last movie of the month, which means next week, double feature.
Next week,
and we've got a brand new guest who has never joined us before, and it's her first movie. This is very exciting. This is a very exciting night. Magical things are about to happen. So we should bring some people in.
Let's bring them in. Oh, by the way, wait, we forgot.
Yes,
if you want to be a guest.
Oh, how would I do that, Dan? If
right
I was
on the bottom of the screen there, EriDanLive.com.
Is it that easy?
It's so simple.
Oh,
we make it so you just type in that. There's no buttons. There might be a button.
There might be a button. I think there's a couple of buttons.
A couple of things that you have to turn on your camera.
You'll be here and you can talk, or you can be in the chat if you want to spew love or hate. Either way, it's fine. We want to hear from you. Are we ready now? Can we bring in some peeps? We've got a whole bunch of peeps waiting. Let's bring them in.
One ring to rule the moon. One ring to
It's Brittany.
Brittany is here. Oh my goodness.
I'm having some problems hitting things. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're just not paying attention.
My mouse disappeared.
Well, see, I thought I was going to have technical difficulties tonight because I realized I changed computers this week, and every time I go to do something, I'm like, that's not installed. That's not installed. So, but that's all right. How are you, Brittany?
Peachy. That's the word.
That is a word.
Living the dream.
Oh my. Speaking of dreams.
Madam Librarian.
Stacy, the ladies are all by themselves tonight. It's magical.
Yeah.
We get to hear your single intros. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Richard is very graciously staying with our screaming daughter.
Wow. That's a good man.
It is.
Speaking of a good man.
Oh, well, in that case.
You can pick. Wiggy.
I'm the good man.
There's a good man. And he's a good man because he's wearing such amazing clothing.
Okay, do this. Hang on. There you go.
Oh, man. There's so much love going on there. I love it. We are going to have new merch here by fall.
Speaking of so much love going on.
Oh, well, in that case.
I'm sorry, Dave. This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
And there you go. Chippewa beats Mohawk. That sounds like a local Beaver Falls Friday night.
It totally is.
And last of the Mohicans.
Mohawk, man. They sucked when I was going every Friday. They were terrible.
All right, and last but not least, we got to bring our two guests who don't have their intros yet. Oh my goodness, Brian and Rebecca.
Yay.
Rebecca, welcome.
Thank you.
Comments. You're an actual person. How are you?
I'm well.
You're well. That's good.
Glad to be here.
Glad that you're here. It's so exciting. We're getting so much love. Last week, our friend, my friend Zach was here as well. He's not joining us this week, but he promises he will be back. but he did not get through this week's movie. And we'll talk more about that as we continue on tonight to talk about Rebecca's movie, which is Last of the Mohicans from 1992, the first American hero. Daniel Day-Lewis, Madeline Stowe, directed by Michael Mann, screenplay written by Michael Mann and Christopher Crowe, budget of $40 million, worldwide gross $143 million, critics 93%, audience 88%. So much love for the Mohicans. Rebecca, why did you choose to grace us with this Daniel Day-Lewis classic movie from the early 90s?
I think I love this movie for at least 4 reasons. 1, Daniel Day-Lewis. That's kind of all you need to say.
3 reasons. Daniel Day-Lewis, right there. There's 3 reasons.
3 reasons. 2 is the soundtrack. I really love the soundtrack. 3, the settings and the locations that they shot at were just absolutely beautiful. Mm-hmm. And number 4 is that I grew up watching this movie. As an older child and as a teenager, I watched it like a ton of times, and I just have really good feelings about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, now this was my first time for Last of the Mohicans. Anybody else?
My first for the last as well.
Oh my good, everybody! You have introduced this movie to everybody. That's fantastic.
Wow.
I love that. I love it. That's awesome. I had no idea what to expect. I purposely didn't read anything before going into it, except I had an idea that there was going to be only one Mohican at the end.
I watched the trailer and I was like, this seems like it's going to be a tragedy. So, yeah.
Well, not a lot of comedies take place in 1757.
Right.
No, it is interesting when this was written and when the first screenplay was written is like 1937 was when they wrote the first screenplay for this. It took them a long time to get this produced. Dan, you think your sitcom's taking a while to get produced?
Takes a while.
This movie took forever to be adapted.
Well, it was an actual movie in 1936.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a remake.
Oh, there's an older one.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Did anybody read this in school? Because that's when I taught it in school, not the movie.
I didn't have you as a teacher, so I did not.
Thank God. Oh.
No, it's unfortunate.
I read Return of the Mohicans.
Return of the Mohicans.
I'm just kidding. As a joke.
Come on. Yeah, American Lit was not my favorite subject to teach. So that was during student teaching, so I didn't have to stick with that. But yeah, this was not my favorite. And the movie came out when I was student teaching. And I went to see Malcolm X instead.
Now, you last week we had some discussion about the violence, and you weren't sure. How did you feel about the movie going into it?
It wasn't as bad as I thought, but it was still much more than I'm ready to watch. I watched it though. I watched the movie, and some of this going on as usual. For 50 years, I've been watching
an overly bloody movie. It's like they don't really. They could be a lot worse.
Yes, absolutely, and that was not my problem with this movie at all. The violence made sense. It wasn't excessive. It was what was supposed to happen in American history. It was just. I did read that this was supposed to be this great love story, and I was like.
Yeah, I didn't like the love story so much.
Right?
Oh,
I know.
Felt very out of place. Like
it did.
It felt very forced.
Yeah.
I did that thing too at one point in the movie.
When they were kissing?
No.
Yes.
I watch the kissing things now.
No, I messaged Rebecca and I was like, this was so wrong of you to make me watch this.
Well, you say that about a lot of movies, Cody.
That's true.
Now, Cody, what do you mean? Why did you feel it was wrong for you to have to watch this? No,
not the movie. Just the lustful scene.
The lustful scenes?
Luxurious scene.
What are you saying?
They did have it was like almost right on the nose, like the sex at 60 thing. If you've ever heard of that, like 60 minutes into the movie, people have sex. That's like it's
Really?
a thing. Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Did you check the time?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Once you start getting into noticing that kind of stuff, you do start. Oh yeah, it's been about an hour.
Yep, exactly.
Well, it's really funny too because of Brian's, education. Like we will be watching movies, and he's like, "Okay, we're halfway through the movie. I can tell because this scene is this twist, and this happens halfway through the movie." Like
I do that.
That's how Reagan watches
That
movies.
guy.
He doesn't ruin it. Like he doesn't spoil anything, but he's like, "Oh, the movie's halfway over now," and like you'll pause it, and sure enough, it's like.
I spoiled it one time with Richard, I think. But I was like, I didn't mean to. I told him something. It was a historical movie, and I was like, "Oh, this is what happened. It's gonna be so good." And he's like, "I didn't know that." He was so mad at me.
Was it
Like,
Titanic?
but it's history.
He didn't know the Titanic was going to sink.
No, it was. He didn't know that Martin Luther got married to a nun. Martin Luther. Yeah.
Well, speaking
Spoiler
of
alert, if you. Yeah.
Speaking of Richard and historical accuracy, he comments in the comments that it was historically interesting. Waterford, PA is the home of Fort Le Boeuf, Shy's hometown. Site of the French occupation in our area, allied with General Washington.
We call it Fart Le Barf. I'm just saying. I went to General McClane.
Number one rival.
Like it was our rival team, so that was the insult was Fart Le Barf.
That's funny.
Which was my mom's alma mater too. So my poor mother was like, "Who do I root for? The school I went to or the school my kids go to? I don't know what to do."
Oh.
So what did you do?
Is where Reagan is living right now was one of the first battles in the French and Indian War. So I thought that was cool, but they didn't mention it because they were up north supposedly in this movie. So
yeah, it was in New York.
Historically, I did find this period of history very interesting and something I was not overly familiar with. So I thought that was all very interesting. I could have done without the love story. I didn't really need that part of it.
Yeah. There
well,
was
then you should have turned it off at the 59-minute mark.
And weird stories and stuff going on that I was not.
I personally, the thing I didn't like, I think, about the history and stuff is like it sort of was painting like the British out to be, I don't know, not like they were kind of the heroes a little bit, I don't know if that makes sense, but like
I understand.
It was like the French and the Indians were like the aggressor bad people in this movie, and I was like, no.
Well, I understood what you were saying.
It all depends on who's telling the story,
right?
I guess
who's the bad guy and who's the good guy.
Well, it also depends on which scenes. I mean, it was also the British commander who refused to listen about the settlers being slaughtered and refused to let his militia go. So he wasn't exactly a good guy.
Yeah, they were kind of jerks at and I think it's a point in American history where there were some people who were still dedicated to England, who were still. And maybe you got a hint of why things started to turn.
Yeah, this is pre-revolution.
Right. So I mean, it is,
But it's not, I mean, it ended like a few years before the revolution started.
Right.
So.
I need Lin-Manuel to make a musical about this.
Yeah, then you'd understand how it works.
Really make it so much more palatable for me.
It's called Mohican.
Well, this is fiction. A lot of it's fiction, so.
I think that was like I think Richard and I kind of both have the same feelings about like the end of the movie is where it finally like picked up for us. Like that was where we finally, because neither one of us, I think he'd seen it like a long time ago, but I hadn't seen it, and I just struggled to get into it. Like it was, I don't know, like they bounced so much around at the beginning, and then like I felt like the love story just was like really out of place. Like 1 minute it's like this Indian just showing up and saving these people and helping escort them, and the next minute he's making out with her, and I'm like, where did that come from?
That's
like,
probably how it happened. Let's be real though.
Chemistry, Brittany. Chemistry.
That's
it was like so quick, and I was like, this makes absolutely no sense at all.
It's because it's Daniel Day-Lewis.
What choice did you have? You got no choice.
He's a good-looking guy.
That hair. That hair is fabulous.
And then
this movie made me mad that I cut my hair.
It'll grow back.
Duncan at the one scene where he's talking about like, we're gonna hang you, like, and he's all cranky and grumpy, and then the next scene he's like, let me die for you. Hey, here you go. Go
That
live
was a
your
quick
life with this
turnaround.
girl that told me no. That's fine. I'm just gonna burn alive. Like,
I wish they would have just made his French mess up and he would have said the wrong thing, like take me instead of take him, and then he would have been confused, like, oh no, why am I going? And that would have been better.
But I think, Brittany, with Duncan, it wasn't about saving Daniel Day-Lewis, saving Hawkeye there. It was saving her. He wanted to be the one to step in her place, not him to do it.
Yeah.
To prove himself worthy at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just a weird redemption arc. Like, I wouldn't have
quick
minded
story
it.
arc.
It was just
Well,
almost
it wasn't even a redemption arc. It just happened.
Well,
Yeah.
right. That's
Yeah,
what there was
no-
no story to it. It was just like, I'm gonna
Unfortunately,
hang
yeah.
you. I'm gonna die. Okay.
You're saying once everybody started throwing themselves off the cliff, everything got better for you?
Oh my gosh, I can't. I can't.
That was the part where I was like,
It was
I
more
literally-
realistic than the
Same,
fugitive.
Brian.
I messaged Rebecca and I said, if this girl jumps off the cliff, and then like 3 seconds later she did, I was like, what
not
the?
happy.
That whole love arc between those two was so dumb. He like just saw his wife dead.
You do have to admit, though, right? The falling scenes were much more realistic than the one in the fugitive,
The one where he slid down the wall,
Yes.
like he slid
But the
down
one
the.
in the
Oh,
Fugitive-
that was good.
where the legs are bending backwards.
I'm gonna have to make a falling montage of all the movie clips that we've seen. People fall off of something.
Worst falls in movie history.
Richard the what is it? Richard the something? I don't know. He falls. And he's like, yeah.
Can you do that again, slow mo?
Richard Kimball.
Thank you.
It's bad. We've had some pretty bad falls in some of these movies.
I didn't realize Daniel Day-Lewis is retired.
Oh yeah, he throws himself into his roles. He's one of those method actor kind of guys,
like crazy.
Just
Like I don't know what he really looks like.
Role, and which is amazing as good as he is, but it's also incredibly exhausting for him and his family.
He like lived in the wilderness for like 2 months before this movie. It's like, dude, it's called acting.
Well, here's the thing about that, because I thought they were the loudest Indians I have ever heard in my life.
When they were screaming under the freaking waterfall.
See, I don't know how they got found. And I don't know. And Wade said, well, maybe at the beginning, because they're running through the forest and like boom, 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 boom. And then this deer comes out. And he's maybe they were trying to flush the deer out.
Nope.
They're loud. Indians aren't loud. Every book I've ever read about Indians is how quiet they are, and then all of a sudden they're just standing right here.
They're not quiet when they're running. I mean, you can't
Yes,
run.
they
through-
are, Dave. Yes, they
They
are.
are.
They're sidlers.
Trying to
They're
be a little more
sidlers.
realistic.
Did anyone else think that the scene in the scene not in the beginning, the scene when they were hiding from the one group of Indians in the night, whenever they were backing up, I totally thought that scene was just put in reverse from them sneaking forward.
They should have run the score
It
backwards.
just looked
I know
so
exactly
funny.
what you're talking
You
about.
know.
You're right. It looks like it's playing in reverse.
Oh
You're
my
absolutely right.
The other
They'd
thing
run out of budget at that point.
with stuff like that too, that you could some of these scenes. There was one.
Waterfall.
The British are up here in the front, and then there's like a row going in the back. And I'm like, wow, this is a setup like an old movie, like in the 50s or 60s when they were doing the Indian movies, cowboy and Indian movies and stuff. And I just thought, I kind of like that. I liked that feel. It didn't have that 90s feel to it.
Parts of it reminded me of a classic John Ford Western.
Yes, exactly. Exactly who I was thinking of. And I just thought, I kind of like that. I liked the music. And I loved the scenery. Everything that Rebecca said, except for Daniel Day-Lewis, for me, I'm like, yeah, I can see that. I can see enjoying that part of this movie. The scenery in North Carolina and the music, definitely.
The music I was torn on. I thought it was an excellent score. It felt like it was a movie about the British, the French, and Native Americans with an Irish score.
It was Scottish.
Scottish Irish, yeah. It was just really, it was like a strange choice. It worked, which was weird, but it was just, it was like, why is this music in here?
I know. That's how I felt too, but it was cool.
There were times where I felt the music was almost a distraction for me, though, right? Where it sort of took me out because I was like, wait, why is that getting so loud? Or why are they trying to force me to know that this is the hero, or force me to know that this is a romantic moment?
But it did not have music that was trying to tell you what to feel. Because when you have the movies like, we're getting tense music now, and here comes the violence, because we've seen movies that just, the score is just, it's like there was score by numbers,
one or two times like
action
that for
scene
me,
music here, romantic music here, and this didn't do that. It let the music try to paint a background instead of trying to force you to feel a certain way, which I appreciated.
Yeah, I think the one complaint about the sound of it that I had is and maybe it was probably because we watched it on YouTube, but 1 minute it was so quiet and the next minute it was so loud, my eardrums were blowing out, and it was so inconsistent that I was like, what is happening? And it was all at the wrong times. It didn't, so it might have just been YouTube, but
it was 100% YouTube because I had the same thing.
it was obnoxious.
And
the ads on YouTube, I think that probably didn't help either because I think you had said when you watched A Street Cat Named Bob on YouTube, the ads interrupted the flow of the movie. I feel like when I would finally start to get into it, then a big ad would happen and then I would be distracted. And
that's the same as commercials. It's hard to watch stuff because at least commercials, when you have something on television, they kind of time it out a little bit.
It's a natural break.
For made-for-TV movies or
YouTube
sitcoms.
doesn't do that. Right. Yeah. YouTube just doesn't do that. Or Pluto or Tubi or whoever else there are that have commercials.
They just throw it mid-scene.
Just wherever the time hits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk for a second about the running, especially the running up the side of mountains is so crazy in this movie. Hold on, I'm trying to find in particular where they're running up the side of this cliff, and it's like, holy leg day, what is going on? Where it's just
you get to see them run down. I don't remember. Because then they're like,
because they jump.
Yeah, so you get down.
Was it a run down? Did they jump?
It's like a slide. You run up to the top and then you jump.
How about when he was one-arming the big rifle? He had two.
Yeah.
Oh, when he look shot both of them.
Not happening.
Oh my gosh!
It also was very much exaggerating the accuracy you can have with those rifles.
Yeah. I was like, that is not happening.
And as soon as they hit the water, they were not going to be usable. Yeah. That, not a musket.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did notice that too. I was like, you dipped the guns in the water, woman. What did you? What?
Yeah, woman.
Historical accuracy was not really looked at.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was really a massacre.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't. The thing is, it wasn't a musket. I mean, it was a long rifle, which means it was rifled. So it's much more accurate than a musket, but it's still not going to be as accurate as they portrayed it.
Right.
That $40 million budget couldn't get more fake guns.
Well, $6 million was just to build the one fort.
Well, I was like, I don't know. It's just me because film major and stuff, but I really didn't like how the dark scenes, the dark lighting a lot.
It was bad.
It bothers me.
I did think the same thing. The dark scenes were too dark.
It didn't.
Maybe in a theater it worked, but it didn't work on the small screen.
I have a TV that I bought specifically for its dark levels and how good you can see dark scenes, and I couldn't see those dark scenes.
There weren't a ton of them, but when they were dark, they were hard to see.
Yeah. There was 2 or 3 that I can think of.
Yeah.
It is really hard to light stuff at night. I mean, you got to get these giant balls of China balls or whatever.
Which is why vampire films are such high budget.
Well, and a lot of the dark scenes, for me at least, when we were watching it, are towards the beginning of the movie, where I'm trying to figure out what's going on and who's who, And the funny thing for me, at the end of the movie, it's Daniel Day-Lewis is Hawkeye. I'm like, he had a name? How did I miss that? He actually had a name.
Who do you think Hawkeye's named after?
Is that where? But yeah, this stuff here at the beginning
MASH
was incredibly
exactly.
dark.
He's Korean.
Yeah.
There were some good cinematic moments that I liked, though. There was this one shot of the bridge and they were coming over and there was the reflection. I was like, that was great.
Yeah, that was really pretty.
When they were coming out of the fort for the truce had just been decided and everything, they were coming out and they were all walking, and I was like, that that really showed like something bad is gonna happen. You know, like you felt it. Like I really like that. I think I don't know if I'm right or not, but I think I've seen just that scene before. In film class, they were showing us that. For some reason, I don't remember, but just that one scene.
I also thought it was somewhat progressive for 1992. How many of the Native American roles were played by Native Americans or people
that's what
significant
Adam
Native
said.
American heritage. The one guy was half Inuit, but they had his brother and his stepfather or adoptive father, excuse me. Yeah, that was very well done, and they were good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Acting was great. Yeah.
Can I wasn't obviously probably alive when this movie came out. Was this like I was alive shortly after. I was probably conceived by this point, but that's beside
You were conceived during this movie.
Wow.
During the one scene. It took that much time. Anyway.
60 minutes in.
60 minutes in.
It's a thing. You can look it up. Like it's a thing.
Was this like a C level or B level like acting cast?
No,
because I didn't recognize any of these names. None.
This was coming off of Daniel Day-Lewis's My Left Foot, which is where he really exploded into most people's attention. He won an Oscar, I believe, for that role, and it was. And so this was his first major film after that, I think. I didn't see this at the time, but it was a very respected, well-publicized, significant budget movie.
Yeah, it was.
But the only Oscar it won, ironically, was for sound.
What?
Huh? Am I muted? Speaking of muted,
from my perspective.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Go ahead, sorry. There was a delay.
I knew that it came out in 92, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a couple months before I was born, probably. But I could tell that Last of the Mohicans was part of popular culture because I was watching an episode of Seinfeld recently, and Jerry quotes, "I will find you, no matter what. I will find you." So I knew it's part of the cultural zeitgeist.
Oh, a great Seinfeld tie-in too.
Very good.
Wow. We're doing Seinfeld. Wow.
Yeah.
First time on, she's getting those brownie points.
Dang, she's done her research.
They don't count for anything though.
But now, okay, but you bring up that scene, which even my wife was like, "They're coming to kill her." What do you mean, stay alive?
Yeah, I was literally like, they would not have taken her captive. I can't believe that they would.
Why didn't she jump?
None of these people knew about Magwa's vendetta against Monroe.
Right.
Not even I at this point, because I didn't understand the broken English.
So he was just an Indian coming to take them. And he remember Hawkeye even asked him, why would this man have this? Why would he try to kill your daughter? Like, I don't know.
True. Yeah, it is a movie. I think that if I were to watch it again, I think it would improve with multiple viewings, because I think there are some things that aren't as clear the first time. At least,
there are layers.
For me, it wasn't. That like towards the end, I'm like, okay, that's and so. Not that I'm ever going to watch it again, but if I were to, I think I'd be able to follow it much better.
Yeah.
The one scene, and I put my where is it? This way. My bad.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. The scene that the quote is from is like, she just realized like what's happening, and like I think it just dawns on her like the whole British Empire is doing this everywhere right now. The whole world is on fire. I was like, that was deep. I like that.
Well, it's also sort of that scene is sort of the inverse of one of the most iconic motifs of The Searchers, which is one of John Ford's best westerns, where the Natalie Wood was kidnapped by the Native American tribe, and Nathan, I can't remember his last name, but who is the hunter, the Indian hunter, trying to go find her. When he finds her, he's going to put a bullet in her head, because he comes right out and says, living with them is a fate worse than death. There is no bringing her back. There is no redemption for her. I'm going to put a bullet in her head. And this is the exact opposite. This is Daniel Day-Lewis saying, stay alive at all costs, no matter what they do to you, no matter what happens, stay alive, and I will come and find you and rescue you. So it's a very interesting contrast.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Now, when he puts a bullet in her head, does he stick it in her ear? Does he stick it up her nose?
I didn't say he did. I said that's what he is going
But
to
I'm
do.
just saying, when they say that, I've always wondered.
Nose hole. Fits better. Straight shot.
Speaking of nose hole, shouldn't we score this thing at this point?
Such a
I don't
weird
have.
transition.
I'm not doing good with segues tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd like some clarification of that now. Okay, let's.
You're also
let's,
getting shorter, Dan.
Let's do the ratings.
All right. Well, we have to go with Rebecca has to start since it's her movie. She's the first one, so she gets the spotlight.
All right. I really like this movie. I've liked it for a long time. I love all the characters. I really appreciate the fact that they use Native American actors in the Native American roles. This is a fault of the source material, but my only gripe is that the real hero and the main character of the movie he's the adopted son of the Mohicans, but he's a white man. Which
Right.
I feel I kind of wish that the main character and hero was a Native American, like full-blooded. But that's just me. So, like I said, I really love this movie. So as a result, I'm gonna score it pretty high. So I'm gonna give it a 97.
All right. Cody.
I like this movie. It was definitely different than what I expected it to be. Not that I had any expectation. There were parts of the movie that bugged me, like the secondary love story of like the guy that his wife and kid got murdered, and then all of a sudden he likes the younger daughter, and then of course when he dies, she's all like, "Let me fall to my death with you." So there were a couple of parts where I was like, "No, that's just stupid. Like this shouldn't be happening." And like the whole thing that Stacy brought up with them being loud Indians and like yelling under the waterfall, where that echoes like crazy. They're just
wait. I completely disagree with that. Have you ever tried to hear anything by a waterfall? You can hear nothing. They are so loud.
All right, I'm gonna go to Niagara Falls and test this. Dave, do you want to come?
We just behind the falls.
I'm just curious. Okay, it sounded very okay. We're gonna move on past that point.
Yeah.
No, I did like the movie. I thought it was good. I didn't. Maybe I was just too tired or whatever, but my brain didn't keep up with the storyline of why the heck the one guy. I kept texting Rebecca, "Why does this guy want to kill this girl?" And then finally Rebecca was like, "You missed it."
Explained it. There's a scene where he literally explained.
I know. But it was the part where there were subtitles and my brain was not having it. And
reading. There's reading involved.
I must have read every subtitle except for that one because I got everything else. But no, I like the movie. I did. I don't know if I would rate it as high as a 97, but I will give it an 84.
All right. An 84. And then we go over to Chippewa.
84, year I got out of college. Okay. I really enjoy the movie, partly because I really enjoy the source material and partly because it's a well-made movie. I do agree with some of the criticisms. The romance did feel forced, although some of that is in the novel. The most interesting thing, and spoiler alert if you plan on reading the book, the biggest thing, and I think it was a mistake in the movie, was in the book, Cora dies. She's killed by one of the Huron. Ooh. And that would have, to me, made a more satisfying ending than the happy-ish ending. I realize happy is relative when all the people, so many people died, but it's almost as if they felt the need to at least have one character end up happy, which felt a little lazy. And I wish they hadn't done that. It didn't ruin the movie by any means, but I think it would have been a better movie, a more emotionally complete movie, if that.
So you wanted her to jump off the cliff too.
So I certainly like it a lot more than I disliked it. I think, again, I would have given it a higher score if it had been more accurate to the book, but I still give it an 88.
Nice.
The year I graduated high school.
Oh.
All right. And now the world is on fire.
Yeah, I
Jaws.
struggled with this rating. I don't I don't want to be the jerk or something.
No,
but
just be honest.
yeah, I see. It did take away from it for me because I feel like it would have been a lot better, like if you did have those story points that made more sense. Like the love story didn't really work for me, and then yeah, she probably should have died. Like it would make more sense. But like the dark lighting was bothering me, and then I really just don't like war movies. But there are better.
Good thing you weren't here for Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, I see. I haven't even watched that one because it's a war movie, and I just don't like them. Yeah, and tragedies really bother me too. Like emotionally, I like that's why like at the end I'm like, no, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, like emotionally, I just like I get invested, and then it just takes it away from me. Like, so I gave it much lower. I feel bad, but I gave it a 65.
Don't feel bad. Your score is your score.
65 is an honest score.
Stacy.
Yep. Well, I'm going to give you Wade's score is a 74. He has no explanation for that. He just texted me a number. So he's a 74. I agree with Brian. I'm not a war movie person either, as I've said before. But this is American history war, like pre-20th century. So I'm a little bit different about that sometimes. But there was a lot of violence, like I said, but not as much and not as bad as I anticipated. And I don't know. Like I said, I loved the scenery. I think it was a beautiful movie. The music helped, and but the story was just I needed more. I needed a different story, I think, than James Fenimore Cooper's vehicle here. I'm just not a fan of American literature from that time period at all. I'm gonna have to say that my score is 72.
72, not the year I went to high school.
No.
Brittany, who let us know in the private chat that she wasn't alive when Dave graduated college or when I graduated high school. So thank you for making us feel like old farts.
Well, they keep telling us that we're old.
Do anything to make me feel like an old fart. That's built into me.
Richard started that.
All I have to do is get up in the morning. I feel like an old fart.
Yeah,
it wasn't me. Yeah, I think I agree with pretty much everything that's been said. It could have been a better movie. Here's a question, that I have now. Who was the last Mohican?
That's what I got mad about at the end.
Because
Tony Danza,
the adoptive father.
Yes,
Dad
but then
was the
if
last
he's
one.
adopted, doesn't that make him a Mohican? Sort of.
Well,
no,
like
sort of.
I thought that was rude.
It doesn't say the last Mohican. The last of the,
which can be plural.
Could be a group.
Yeah,
but he made a
fair,
statement saying that he was the last singular.
He did at the
Does
very end.
actually say that he's the last Mohican.
And then he looked at him like, haha.
Okay. Anyways, that was just okay. That was the thought that I was having. I am gonna say a 70.
Nice.
All right. And then I think Richard has his here. Pretty slow for me. The music score was enjoyable. I enjoyed the historical aspect of the movie more than the story itself, going with a 59. Holy Adam score.
No.
That wasn't even Adam.
That's high for Adam.
Have we done everybody that's live? I guess it's my turn. Oh, geez, I didn't shave. Yeah, you guys have said it all, really. I mean, what Richard said, I like the music. From a movie aspect, I think it was very well done. Daniel Day-Lewis, of course, the way he commits is just unreal. Like he He's one of those actors like Tom Hanks, or where he just disappears in a role. You don't
like a Gary Oldman.
Like a who?
Gary Oldman.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably would watch it again for the reason Eric said, that I'm sure I missed a lot, because there's a lot going on, and maybe do a little of the historical research even, and then go back and watch it, even though it's not historically, it's not a documentary. Right. But I'm going to give it a solid 82.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good movie. It's a well-made movie.
This, I get everybody's comments and I get everybody's scores, where there's definitely an audience for this movie, right? This is one of those movies where if this is in your vein and this is something you appreciate, with clearly, if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores, there are a lot of people who look at this movie as like, Oscar worthy, whether it won Oscars or not. It was up there. It was a contender.
Could have been a contender.
I'm just not one of those people. Right. So I know this movie wasn't for me, but I tried. I gave it all. I didn't hate it. But right. It just one of those movies. It just didn't click for me at all. I ended up at a 67, which is, I think if I did watch it again, I think watching it again would definitely help that score, because I felt like I did spend a lot of the movie trying to figure out what was happening. Just everything. Like, now wait, I think it was halfway through the movie before I realized that he was adopted. And that's on me, but maybe I'm just slow, and that's possible, but it wasn't, I need things spelled out. So there were a lot of things that as I said, I think with repeat viewings, it would certainly help me. And speaking of helping me is the fact that I actually scored it slightly worse than Adam.
Wow, look at that Adam score.
That's a solid Adam score.
That is a very solid
Adam score.
Yeah, that's a high Adam score.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Now, Dan,
we found Adam's kryptonite. It's Rebecca's movies.
It's just first take out all the love story.
Yeah, the damn love story. My mom was not able to watch it, so she did not score it.
Well,
so we won't have that score. So the scores here, I think, are the scores.
All right, hold on. I'm working on a graphic.
Oh, a graphic. While you're at it,
yeah.
Speaking of film, I know I mentioned the offer on Paramount Plus that's about the making of The Godfather. Yeah. I heard a funny story the other day that Mario Puzo, the guy who wrote The Godfather, had never written a movie before, and when he went to write his next movie, he's like, because he worked with Francis Ford Coppola to write the movie. He went out and bought a book on screenwriting that had just come out, and the first thing it said was, "If you want to learn how to write a movie, watch The Godfather." And he's like, "All right, well, I guess I'm
I guess
good.
I know what I'm doing."
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Little side note, Eric, do you have your graphic done?
I almost have it done. Just
another side note.
A slightly distraction.
Well, the problem that I have with Power Rangers is that Power Rangers get their power from dinosaurs, the spirit of dinosaurs.
Isn't that where we power our cars?
I thought they got their power from the Morphin grid, but that's okay.
I have no idea. So there we go. Last of the Mohicans at a 75.09.
Right next to Little Big Man. How appropriate.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
And Love Actually.
Actually, I did like this more than Little Big Man. I will say that. So awesome. All right. Well, now things get really exciting now.
Oh, man.
Because next Monday is the first of the month.
Okay, first we have to. It's also the 4th of July. Are we going to do a 4th of July show? Or are people going to be watching fireworks and doing family things?
I will be out of town.
Should we do the 5th of July?
I think it's probably Tuesday, don't you think, then?
Yeah, I think we should do Tuesday the 5th of July.
Tuesday, because we can't. I don't think we can do. We can't.
Sunday the 3rd. I have
watch 2 movies between now and Sunday.
Yes.
So
and Sunday is our fireworks. Our fireworks are Sunday night.
Oh, that makes sense.
And wait, stop the presses. What? Adam has plans the 4th of July, so
there it is.
Cannot do it.
It's Tuesday. Well, that's all right. Adam already got a double feature this round. No, I'm kidding. We will definitely be next Tuesday night, but it will be our viewers' choice double feature.
That's another plus to moving it to Tuesday. It gives you an extra day to watch 2 movies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I've got this all loaded up with everybody who's here with us.
Fair warning, I'm winning this.
And Adam did get a chance to. Adam actually, I need to get rid of Adam because
Adam will be there.
Well, no, Adam chose the last double feature, and that was
that's right.
Reset the wheel. We reset the wheel last week, and Adam got the double feature for last month. So this should be everybody. Make sure you see your name here. If you don't, please yell now. And I will correct it. I think I got everybody though. And so and if you don't know exactly what your double feature choice is, we have other things to talk about. So you can take a little time if you know off the top of your head. That's fine too. Are we ready? I'm gonna give this a shuffle. As always, a quick shuffle and a spin. And we'll see what's about to happen. Who gets to choose next Tuesday's double feature? It looks like Stacy. Oh, right on the line there.
Right on the line. I was like,
so
I was like, who is it?
Stacy. Just Stacy, do you have an idea or do you need a little time?
I have an idea.
No.
Because I picked up I figured I'd stick with the movie that I've had on the wheel forever now. And today I picked up a second movie. I'm like, oh, I've always wanted to watch this. They have nothing to do with each other. The genre isn't the same.
Perfect.
So, it's just the way I'm going to roll. So music and lyrics, is that the one I have with Drew Barrymore?
Good choice.
2007.
Yeah, and the
Currently
other
streaming
one
on Hoopla. But
Okay,
also
good.
available for rental everywhere.
The other one is Super 8, unless we've already watched that one.
Oh no, we've not watched Super 8.
And I have never seen it.
I've seen that.
I haven't either.
And
It's
Super
all
8
on my
is
list.
streaming on HBO Max. If you have HBO Max,
What was the first movie?
Music and lyrics.
Lyrics. Which is a great movie. I like some music. If it's the one I think it is.
That's a good one too, because I'm going to be with extended family a bit, and everybody I know in the family likes that movie. So I'll have no trouble getting people to watch music and lyrics as a group.
Oh yes. This is that movie. How exciting! That's very exciting.
Yeah, I just picked up
Super 8. I only ever saw once.
I was putting books and movies away today, and I'm like, oh, I've always wanted to watch this. I'm gonna snag this, and boom, here we go.
Fantastic! Wow, that's fantastic. Look at that. A double feature, and of course the challenge will be to find the connection.
Okay.
As you watch the movies, your job is to try to figure out the most bizarre or the most creative connection.
Kevin Bacon.
Maybe. You never know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go. I guess it is time now. All right. This is I'm not sure this is final as far as graphics go. But we're going to go with this one for this week. It is now time to talk about an old TV series as we go into what I'm calling the rerun rewind. There it is. Classic. All right, Dan, set us up.
All right. So it was July 5th, 1989.
It was
Two
a
young
dark
men were
stormy
freshmen
night.
in college, just finished their freshman year. They loved comedy, and somehow they both you do remember seeing this, Eric, don't you, with me?
I have no idea what you're talking about. No, I'm kidding.
Eric doesn't remember a lot of
I've
things.
never seen an episode of Seinfeld before. No, I'm kidding.
Right. And I remember in summer of '89, it was one episode, it was a special. They played it one episode. That was it. And I was like, this is okay. This is kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
And then a year later, they played 4 episodes, the shortest order ever in the history of television. And those 4 episodes played. And then another year went by. And sometime in 91, they got 9 more episodes. And then all of a sudden they had a full season pickup after that. And they got bounced around. And the only reason I think they were successful is because no one was paying attention. Because this show was part of the budget of the late night budget of NBC, not the prime time. So late night was busy with Jay Leno and David Letterman fighting over the Carson spot, and this show just kept getting bounced around. And then Cheers went off the air. It took its spot, and the rest is history. I, of course, am talking about Friends. No.
I knew that joke was going to be made.
Yes, we are talking about Seinfeld. I think we mentioned that. And honestly, I think Seinfeld, the TV show, is probably a part of the reason why Eric and I even did stand up the first time we did it.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Now, some people here were not born when Seinfeld went on the air.
Well, Seinfeld was on until 1998.
Well, yes, by the end of its run, right.
Right. So it's been off the air longer. You know, I heard another thing today. Johnny Carson has been off the air now, the Johnny Carson show, longer than he was on the air.
Wow.
That's depressing.
And a lot of you are like, who's Johnny Carson?
I still occasionally watch old
I could
cartoons.
say that.
Yeah.
Me too.
Because I have the one local My TV or something, and I'll occasionally watch an episode.
It's on Antenna TV too.
Okay.
And, and Reagan's like, who is this guy?
When there's a good guest on, oh, that was such an amazing show.
Yeah.
I well, like a year or so ago, I watched Letterman's first appearance on Carson.
The Big Lapels.
Yes.
He and Jay Leno also had big lapels when he was on. The one thing I wanted to also add was, I just had a brain fart, so I can't add it.
Well, there you go.
Where'd Cody go?
I have not really watched Seinfeld like purposely since it went off the air, right?
Wow.
Like honestly, for me, when it was over, it was pretty much over. I was not.
You had everything on VHS, didn't you?
I had all the. Oh, I did. I recorded them as they went.
Yes.
I had my own homemade collection.
Yes.
And then I bought the DVDs, which largely went unplayed. I did not watch them when they were in reruns because they had commercials, and I owned the DVDs, so why would I watch that? But I never watched the DVDs.
Right.
And so until this all came up, and honestly, just this past weekend, where I decided I would start from the beginning, and I made it about halfway through the second season. And I will say I'm watching on Netflix, and I don't like the 16:9 aspect ratio on the show. I don't know if anybody watched it that way. It looks very pixelated to me, and not.
Not if you watch it on a phone.
Work. Oh, not if you watch it on a phone.
If you watch it on a big screen TV, yeah.
Quibi was meant for Dan.
Now, so it was my youngest son, my 14-year-old son, my 14-year-old son's first exposure to Seinfeld, and he loved it. He's like, this is a great show.
Yeah.
This I can watch.
Yeah, my son and I watched
trying to get
every
him to watch
episode.
Supernatural, which he's like, I can't watch this.
Which did you start him at the beginning, Eric?
I did start at the beginning.
Because it definitely gets stronger. So it'd be interesting. It's that you actually enjoyed the beginning enough to stick with it.
Yeah.
The pilot is absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
It's horrible.
But it's
I don't think that's
definitely
fair.
significantly worse than the
All
show.
right.
I don't think that's fair, but I do think that the chemistry goes through the roof once Julia Louis-Dreyfus
Which is episode 2.
Yes.
Right. But I mean, and the more they flesh out her character, I feel like without her strong lead character in it, the dynamic between the rest of the three of them is not as strong.
Right.
And when I moved to LA the very first time in 93, I wrote a script and I was trying to find it. I can't find it anywhere. I thought I had it on my computer here. I was going to send it to everybody on Facebook. In my initial script, it was about basically I figured out the formula is you have a joke at the end that all of them are participating in somehow, and then you have to figure out how they all ended up there, and you kind of reverse engineer. And there's 4 storylines, and no sitcom had really done 4 major characters with their own storylines. That was never a thing. There might be the A plot and the B plot, sometimes a C, but never a D. You never had 4. And I wrote it, and when I moved to LA, I signed with a literary agency because the agent's daughter was reading in the backseat of the car and laughed hysterically at parts of it. And she said, well, if my daughter's laughing at it, it must be good. I'm like, did you read it? And she's like, yeah. I don't think she did. But I showed it to my son. My son and I watched it probably when he was 12. We went through all 180 episodes in order, like at night instead of a bedtime story. Funny side note, I used to do a thing called a story with no pages when he was little, because he's like, just tell me a story with no pages. And I ran out of making up stories, so I started just giving like plots from episodes of Seinfeld and making these stories that I was telling him. All of a sudden, when he's watching, he goes, this seems very familiar.
It's really funny.
That's hilarious.
That is good. I like
That's
that.
funny.
You were nailed.
Yeah. Adam says he never bought into the hype. Were some episodes funny? Yes. Was it groundbreaking comedy? In my opinion, no. George and Kramer were the best characters in the show. They needed their own series.
They got their own series. They bombed.
Yeah, both of them. Well, not as the characters, though.
No, but well, except actually, Alexander described his follow-on show as basically George Costanza 2.0. He was basically trying to play a very similar character, and it lasted one season.
Yeah, and the Michael Richards show was horrible. Yeah. It should have been Kramer PI. Would have been so much funnier.
But the only one that I think really had a very good show after that was Julia Louis-Dreyfus on Veep.
Yeah. Well, she had old
New Adventures of Old Christine. That was okay.
It went into syndication. It went 100 episodes.
Yeah.
You've got Coulson from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on that show.
Yeah. Adam just never liked Seinfeld. Doesn't find him funny. I actually have his book autographed. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, the sign language book.
Yep.
Oh
and it's all of his material. And what's funny is when you read it, Adam's 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
If you just read the material, it's not funny. But if you read it as Seinfeld, it's funny.
That's true. I mean, the best comedians were both great, had great timing and delivery, and were great writers. Yeah. And you have to have both to really be really great.
Yeah.
Dan, is that his newest book?
No, this is the old one.
Okay,
because the very first one he did.
The new one I tried to read because I like the show, and I could not read it, and that's why. It was too much work trying to hear it in his voice.
Well, yeah, his last is just it's just stop comedy routines, right? It's not.
That's what this is too. This is his old material. His new one is there something there?
Yeah.
Is this something? No, is this something?
Is this something? Yeah.
Now another book that's very good is Seinfeldia, which is written by a woman who wrote for Entertainment Weekly, and there's tons of interviews, and it just goes through how the whole show was. And this, I know Eric has this one.
Which one? I do have that one. I have
the first two seasons.
I didn't even think to grab my Seinfeld memorabilia. I have like magazines with them on the cover. I was a huge nerd.
You have your fan club?
Was.
My daughter's been to your house. She knows you're lying.
No, that doesn't mean I wasn't.
Scarlett Johansson had been in it.
Wow, that's true.
I mean, here's a joke out of his book. I'll read it as just reading it. I love my phone machine. Phone machine. I wish I was a phone machine. I wish if I saw someone on the street I didn't want to talk to, I could just go, excuse me, I'm not here right now. If you leave a message, I can walk away.
I just watched this episode.
Oh, really?
I just watched the episode that he does that routine at the end.
I also have a cordless phone, but I don't like it that much. Because you can't slam down a cordless phone. You get mad at somebody on a real phone. You can't talk to me like that. Bang, it's over. But on a cordless phone, you can't talk to me like that right now. Just let me find that little thing to turn it off. Just hang on. Hold on. I'm hanging up on you.
Right.
Yeah, but
I'm laughing because I just saw it a couple weeks ago too.
Yeah.
I was laughing because I was remembering when we switched to cordless phones, and I was like, yeah, I can't slam it.
Yeah, and now I saw a comic do the exact same joke, but he said with a cell phone.
Right.
He's like, you have to.
Even just the vernacular. I mean, hang up means nothing in a cell phone world, and yet we still use that same expression.
Yeah.
I never got this poster, but I wish I would have. There's a company called Pop Chart that makes these amazing charts based on random pop trivia things. I never got this one, and they don't have it anymore. But it was a chart about nothing, and it was every Seinfeld character on this giant chart and how they were connected to each one of the main characters.
That's funny.
It was an awesome,
That's cool.
Again, I never got.
And then, of course, the sort of fifth character of Newman, who sort of became the fifth wheel, as it were.
He did, yes, over time. You're right.
I really think that if they were going to do a spinoff, they should have done Newman.
Wayne Knight is funny, really.
Boy, that's big. Woo,
yeah, it is really big.
But he got eaten by dinosaurs. Come on.
That's true.
And he stole
Oh,
Woody.
There you go.
Jurassic Park. I was like, wait, what? I got it after a while.
He powers the Power Rangers.
And he stole Woody. So no.
So what? Everybody that has one, Cody obviously doesn't. What would be your favorite episode?
I like the belly button one. I said that last week.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
It's
It'll
been
always
too
be
long
the
since I've
contest
watched
for me.
more.
It's always going to be the
Contest.
contest for me. That's the one that I honestly, I like had almost had to stop watching.
Well, that was actually, I was reading a thing about.
Could you go 30 days without watching that, Eric?
I was reading an article where they were talking about sort of, weird facts that have recently, the cast members have recently talked about that they hadn't talked about before. And one of them was Jason Alexander almost left the show after the episode The Pen because he wasn't in it. And he basically went to Larry David and said, if that ever happens again, write me out permanently because I might as well stay home if this is all I'm going to be doing. And they really didn't realize what they had until he said the episode The Contest. He said when that episode hit and everybody was just like talking about it, they realized they had something.
Yeah.
What
When
season
Kramer
was
walks
it?
in,
Season
slams
3
down
or
the
2?
money.
That's,
I'm out.
That's the moment. That's the moment right there where it all changed, right? Where they sort of catapulted to a whole different level.
I
I
was
just remember
surprised.
you two being totally Seinfeldian every time I came over. Stacy, did you watch? You have to watch this.
Well, another
And you
episode.
did.
The Marine Biologist is probably my one of my favorites. The way it ends, that script was written with the studio audience already there. Like they were filming, the ending was basically just that, is there a marine biologist? And he walks out, and that was the end of the show. And then they came up with the idea of tying it in back to Kramer hitting the golf ball. And they wrote that real quick, and they asked Jason Alexander, hey, can you memorize this? He goes, yep, I got it. One take, and you can see them all laughing. So that was another one that kind of changed the show.
And that was one of the 2 episodes that Seinfeld identified as ones where he just couldn't stop laughing. He was just laughing uncontrollably.
The other one is Mr. Bookman, or Lieutenant Bookman. They cut that thing like 10 different ways because he's laughing every single time, and they had to cut away and reshoot him.
That is the amazing thing is how some of these smaller characters, like Putty, were
Yeah, that's right.
just hysterical.
Oh,
high five.
Well, why can't I'm having a brain part of my own. Keith Hernandez.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, that we probably quoted that episode 8 billion times.
Well, especially when it was
one magic loogie.
After JFK came out too, which was just brilliant.
And Wayne Knight was in JFK. That's what made that even funnier. Is I think he's even in the scene where they talk about back and to the left.
Yes.
My favorite episode, I think, was Spongeworthy.
That was brilliant. Yeah.
That was really, it made a lot of sense to a lot of women at that time.
And if you listen to the podcast I shared, and I'll put the link up for everybody, when I interviewed Peter Melman, he wrote that episode.
I was listening to that.
And he said he was just driving to work one day and he heard that they were discontinuing the Today Sponge. And he came in, he goes, they're discontinuing the Today Sponge. There's a storyline for Elaine.
Yep. It's perfect.
The Soup Nazi would be up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rebecca was about to say something.
This episode.
Oh, Festivus, of course.
Oh my goodness.
And that was one of the writers. His dad came up with that. And like it was like an embarrassment to his family that it became a national thing.
I said that still holds. That still is something you hear.
And Jerry Stiller was brilliant in that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There's some behind the scenes stuff where they're backstage about to walk on and he's got the pole and Michael Richards says to him, drag it. He's like, what? He goes, drag it. Make it really loud as you walk in. It's the last minute thing. And he came in dragging it and it just makes it that much funnier. Yeah. I was reaching for the doll.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just so many iconic secondary characters. And it would have been a great show if it had just been the 4 of them.
Yeah.
But so many of these episodes you remember because of because of Jerry Stiller, because of Patrick Warburton. I mean, just how great they were.
Yeah.
Uncle Leo.
Oh, yeah.
Uncle Leo.
Jerry, hello.
Uncle Leo was in an episode of The Wild Wild West.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did he talk
I'm like,
about
I know
his son
that guy.
Jeffrey?
What?
Your cousin Jeffrey. Your cousin Jeffrey.
And don't forget, and they're magnificent.
Another Peter moment.
Absolutely.
See, it's been so long since I've watched
chunky that left these chunkies.
Whoa.
Whoa. What?
I do
There was no
remember.
pig. I did not pick. There was no pig. I gotta go. No. Don't pick.
That voice.
Oh, goodness.
So what's up, diggity dog?
So what's the next TV show we're gonna watch?
Was that the question?
Because now I want to be a part of this conversation, even though it's not.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I remember in middle school, like, I remember this one day the teacher was he came in and like a ton of people were like just sleeping in class and I had no idea why, but like I guess everyone had watched the final episode of Seinfeld and I didn't even know there was what it was on or whatever, the series finale. I still remember that day because like everybody was tired and I was like, what is this show? I had never heard of it.
And it's still an extremely divisive episode, even amongst this group.
And why were they tired? It was on at 9:00.
I don't know.
Parties, man.
Yeah.
Seinfeld parties.
Yeah, it was just like a thing. And then
I hated that episode.
Me too.
I
only
in
watched
Orlando.
like reruns of it. So I don't.
Now the finale was so.
Yes.
The problem with the finale was it leaked what their original idea was. So they actually made the beginning their original idea. So everybody thought they were going to die in a plane crash because that was the original idea that Larry wanted to do. He said, let's just kill them all. Yeah. And then
that would have been, I don't think people would have liked that better.
Yeah.
But they actually ended it where they had the opportunity. If the network came with enough money, they probably could have come back.
Yeah.
Because the last thing he says is, it's only a year, then we'll be back.
I completely agree that the finale worked in the sense that it fit the characters and all of that. I just didn't think that was a funny episode. And I watched Seinfeld to laugh, and I got no laughs from that episode.
Absolutely.
I think there was a lot of pressure to do something unique and
Bring as many people back on as you can. Because they had, cameos from almost everybody.
Right.
The Soup Nazi was there.
I like that episode. I just remembered that one. Yeah. So
no soup
for you.
But yeah, like I only watched reruns. I didn't watch it while it was on.
I think that was the fourth highest episode ever. I think MASH is number one. Cheers. Not including Super Bowl.
Yeah, MASH is definitely.
It's going to be hard to beat those now because so many of the shows are on streaming services, which means you don't get the same giant numbers as when you only had 4 networks to watch.
Right, like Stranger Things. Like it's the third most viewed season ever with 474 million minutes. I'm like, well, what does that mean?
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I remember looking that up one time. The MASH and then Seinfeld was one of the ones. Yeah. But Jerry Seinfeld made like a ton of money off the show.
Yeah, Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld became quite wealthy off that show.
They're doing okay.
Yeah, but like Jerry Seinfeld, I think he had like the most. Like it was crazy.
Well, he had the most because he got acting as well as writing and producing.
Yeah.
And Larry just got writing and producing.
Yeah, I was astounded because like he made a lot.
They offered him $10 million an episode to do another season.
Yeah,
Plus, he was able to sell out any stand-up he wanted to do after that, and get any. If he wanted to do a show, you just go to whoever it is and go to Netflix or Amazon and say, "I want to do a show." Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, right.
How big is a check you need?
Yeah, Amazon gave like $100 million for comedians and cars getting coffee.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, and then he did 2 stand-up specials with them, and Seinfeld's there. They paid $500 million for Seinfeld for 5 years.
And then Larry David went on to do Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Right. And they're about to do the 12th season.
And I was surprised because we only watched 2 episodes, which were the 2 that you had mentioned, Dan, which is the pilot and then the yada yada. And I had forgotten because my recollection, my incomplete recollection was like most shows that it had started to go downhill because most shows by season 8 or 9 are going downhill.
Yeah.
And the Yada Yada, which was from mid to late season 8, was just as good as the best episodes.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think. Well, I don't think it really fell off for most people until the finale.
Yeah.
Right? It really, which was kind of their point. So Dan and I did go see.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Look at that. This is not even a program. This was just an advertisement they had for other shows that were coming. That's the funny thing is I held on to it for way too many years. Because at the same time, let's see what else was airing on NBC. This is an NBC ad that was at the concert. So at the same time, they were promoting Seinfeld. It was Late Night with David Letterman. It was Wings.
Yeah, Wade loved that.
Saturday Night Live.
Because they had planes, of course you did.
A Different World and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Today's freshest news.
Fresh Prince. I do love the Fresh Prince.
That was a real knee slapper, that show, or a real face slapper.
You see what you did there.
Ooh.
So I pulled up the numbers. MASH, the #1 viewed finale of all time, 105 million viewers.
Wow.
Number 2 was Cheers with 80.4.
That's quite a drop off.
I know. Number 3, The Fugitive.
Yep. Yeah,
Back in the
that was on the
60s.
list. Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to know what happened.
Yeah.
And then
Well, they
Seinfeld.
also they did a cliffhanger that aired the second half like months later.
78 million
really
viewers
caught
for the
people
finale.
going. Yeah, brilliant.
Is Dallas
Seinfeld had-
is Dallas on the list?
It is. Seinfeld
It
had
is? Okay.
76.3 million. Friends had 52.5. Magnum PI had 50.7. The Cosby Show had 44.4. All in the Family 40.2. Family Ties.
Wow.
Michael J. Fox 36.3. Home Improvement 35.5. Frasier 33.7. Dallas 33.3. And Everybody Loves Raymond 32.9.
See, I'd be willing to bet with Dallas that the Who Shot JR episode had higher ratings than the finale.
Oh,
I agree.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Let's see if it says anything.
I
about
tried to. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Brian.
I tried to find Dallas because I wanted to watch it, but
It
my
was
parents
on
talked
something.
about it. Yeah, but I can't find it streaming anywhere.
We started it streaming. I think it was on Amazon
Yeah.
last year. We watched the first 2 or 3 episodes. It was terrible. I had never watched it. I watched
I've never
the
watched
last
it.
season. I watched the last season in college, so I was about 10 when it started. So it was like 13 years later. I'm watching the last season on Friday nights because I could, and I just had it on while I cleaned my room at school, and I'm like watching the beginning. Tina Louise was JR's secretary, like Ginger, and she looked terrible. And I was like, oh my God. And Reagan, my daughter, was trying to watch it with us. And she's like, what is this?
That's a show that overstayed its welcome.
Well, this was the beginning of it. It was terrible. Oh,
It went from 1991 is when it went off the air.
yeah.
14 seasons. The famous 4th episode of season 4 was the month-long debate of Who Shot JR.
Right.
And it is the second highest ratings ever for a TV show.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
It had between 83 and 90.
Even the ending of it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 83 and 90 million viewers.
And the first one was when Lucy had her baby. Guaranteed.
Oh, that was huge.
No, I think the first one is the MASH finale.
Oh, okay.
Is the highest
Yeah.
ever.
No, MASH is definitely.
Lucy,
MASH was
Lucy having her baby was another one of those huge benchmark episodes.
Yeah.
The exact opposite of Fonzie jumping the shark. It's,
because people always say that, so then I watch the all of the shows where they
Yeah, John Hine, who's on the Howard Stern show, he wrote a book called Jumping the Shark. He and his friend, while at Carnegie Mellon, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's where he went to school.
I think you're right.
Or maybe he's from Pittsburgh. Anyway, there's some tie to Pittsburgh. They wrote a book called Jumping the Shark. And it was all about shows that
overstayed their welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like Family Ties, though. It was good. Yeah.
I like
love
Family
that
Guy.
Oh yeah.
Family Ties I liked at the time because of Michael J. Fox, but rewatching it now, it's annoying. And
it's all Tina Yothers. Oh.
Well, it's one of those shows like Family Matters where eventually the show became to be about one character.
Well, that and the
Family
other thing
Matters.
is, yeah, they made Mallory. they made Mallory really stupid. In the first couple seasons, she wasn't. And I thought, what are they doing here? This isn't funny when you see her going backwards. And then the other thing, watching it in syndication, was there were so many reunion shows, like not reunion, but flashback shows.
Yeah, the clip shows. Yeah.
That's
stupid. Called Michael J. Fox is doing a movie. Well, we have to do a flashback episode.
Or
he did so much.
Meredith Baxter Bernie's having a baby, or it was
Yeah.
annoying. So I almost bought a season, like the seasons of that, and it was between that and the first season of Wild Wild West, and I didn't pick Family Ties, and I'm really glad I didn't once I started watching it in syndication or reruns after all those years. It was terrible.
But like, so I think I mentioned last week that I like to watch like really bad B movies sometimes. And
like the B movie? No, I'm sorry. Go.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Sorry. Go ahead.
He likes bees.
No, like so Tremors, right?
Oh yeah.
Is that a
like
B
the guy
movie?
from Family Ties is in Tremors, and I just love the contrast of he plays this gun nut in Tremors, and in Family Ties he's like this. Am I saying the right name of the show? I am.
Family
Right?
Ties.
I said Family Matters. Which one are we talking about here?
No,
Family
Family
Matters
Ties
was-
he plays this character. He's like, don't fight. He's telling Michael J. Fox all the time, right?
Oh, his dad.
Oh, his father.
Yeah, his dad.
Oh, Michael Crow.
Yeah.
Michael Crow.
Yeah, and he plays in Tremors, and it's like,
Okay.
wow, that's a different
It's
character.
completely opposite.
Well, I love when
Yeah,
actors
it was
play
great.
against type. One of the best examples is when Henry Fonda in Once Upon a Time in the West played one of the most heinous characters ever on film. And Henry Fonda had been and Fred McMurray, who, in The Apartment, he was not a good guy. And yet I grew up watching him on My Three Sons. So
Right.
you really kind of like, whoa, this really catches you.
And Double Indemnity, wasn't he?
Double Indemnity with Barbara
Yeah.
Stanwyck. Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Just because he's a bad guy doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
Well,
Exactly.
but as Cody said, what are we going to watch next month?
Well, that's what Brittany was asking in the chat. How are we going to choose the next show?
How did we choose this one?
We just went with Seinfeld because it's
Oh,
Eric's
Eric-
Eric's show and my show.
It's your show.
So, Eric, it's your call.
Oh, it's my call.
I know what Eric wants to say. I know the show.
The Monkeys.
Oh my!
Here we come. You can't watch it anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think that's on anywhere.
Most people. I don't think you're finding the Monkeys anywhere. Unless you want to come to my house. No. What do you
I'm afraid of what he's going to choose, though.
Cody, what are you thinking that I'm thinking?
I hope he's not going to choose that show because I loathe that show.
It's the show that you
Lonely Hearts
love.
Club Band has a
It's
TV
the
show.
Shows.
No, it's the show.
Arrested Development.
The show?
It's the show that me and you have talked a lot about.
Friends.
No, it's not Friends.
I don't.
What have we talked a lot about, Cody? I don't.
What are we both into a lot?
Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Talked about it. That's true.
Pawn Stars.
Are you
Are you
thinking
gonna pick a
about
Marvel
Marvel
show?
shows? Recent?
Huh?
Are you talking about like recent Marvel shows?
No, I wouldn't say recent.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Daredevil.
Oh yeah, no, I can't do that. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking that I was thinking would be a good place for us to go next. An easy place for us to go next.
Don't say it.
I'm thinking The Good Place.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I was just talking with someone about that yesterday because the last episode of season 1. Oh man.
Yeah. So I think we go with The Good Place. And we're gonna figure out. We'll figure out a system. I don't know.
This is how we started the movies. Is you and I just kind of picked a movie. Okay, let's do that one.
Yeah.
And then once we had more people, then we added a wheel.
Yeah.
So maybe after
we'll come up with a new system. It probably won't be a wheel. Adam says no thanks to The Good Place.
I was gonna say, like, is that the one where they're like in heaven?
With
Yeah.
Ted
Yes,
Danson?
yes,
Ted
absolutely.
Danson.
Yeah.
All right.
Ted Danson.
Yeah,
Dorothy
I say
Garden.
no thanks to that.
Me too.
Wow.
I enjoy it.
That's
Yeah.
they're dropping like flies.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
You know
I watched a couple episodes and
It's so good.
I disapproved.
Why?
Wow.
I'm sorry. I just did.
But that's the thing about things like this, where you have a discussion that you watched a couple, so you have an opinion and you can base it on something. Mine is based on the trailers and the commercials, and I say no.
Did you watch?
Yeah.
Did you watch
It's a
the
really
first
funny
couple,
show.
or did you watch a random couple?
I've watched the first couple. Yeah.
Okay.
And you need to go.
Because unlike Seinfeld, The Good Place is very much a narrative show, so it's a little more difficult to just watch random episodes.
Yeah, you can't just pick and choose episodes and have a prayer of knowing what's going on.
Right.
Well, honestly, so here's what I'm thinking. We won't officially announce the TV show until the next week. So take this week and just watch your double feature. And Dan and I will come up with a better system for this over the next 6 days, 7 days.
Maybe we'll come up with, instead of a spin the wheel, maybe we'll have the cube.
I keep expecting Kramer to burst through the door behind you, Dan.
I know.
We'll get one of those.
Oh, it is really. I really like that. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
One of these
2,
things.
3, 4.
Oh yeah.
That means we have to watch Community, because that's what they use for Community. The opening.
Get a Ouija board.
Yeah. Well, Dan and I will talk offline. We will come up with an official system to give everybody equal input for how we handle the team.
I mean, Brittany did say that they have an idea. So why don't people throw out some other ideas too that we can just real quick?
See,
for the show specifically,
just throw out an idea for a TV show.
Well, yeah. If you were choosing, just
I don't even know how to choose.
I would probably choose the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I think eventually we will.
I mean, classic shows I think are a better way to go if they're accessible, because it's something that's. I mean, Raising
How I Met
Hope-
Your Mother.
Yeah. When did you meet my mom? Oh, on the show?
How I Met Your Mother was pretty good. I enjoyed that.
Oh, that's a good one.
So Raising Hope, if I'm not mistaken, is the same is Greg Garcia, who's the same guy that did My Name Is Earl.
Yeah.
Well, here's what we're gonna do. All right. Next week we will have a conversation about this. So everybody get something in their mind. How's this? And we will come up with a system to do this. But while you're choosing, make sure it's something that is available streaming somewhere.
Okay.
Right. It needs to be streaming on some, even if it's a pay service, it needs to be available on some service somewhere.
And I would also say, even though it's ultimately up to Dan and Eric what the rules are, I would prefer something episodic so that you don't have to.
Who's got trucks driving by their house?
That's gotta be Rebecca, because I've never heard that before.
That was dramatic.
Because a show with a narrative arc is going to be harder for people to just pick random episodes of.
Yeah.
True. True. So all right. So so everybody come up with their choice of a show that if you've never watched before, that if you were given a month and you could watch 4 or 5 episodes over the course of a month, you might form an opinion based on those 4 or 5 episodes. How's that?
I agree with
We're
that.
talking like a situation kind of show, like a serial, not a narrative.
Well, yeah, anything like that you'd have to watch. Well, I mean, I guess if it's something you could watch the first 5 episodes.
That's true.
That's
most shows don't find their footing their first season, really. So the first 5 are not going to be the best.
So if it's a narrative show, it's gonna have to your advice is gonna have to be watch the first 5 episodes.
Right.
If it's a comedy, if it's something that you could, maybe it'll be something that you could recommend at least 2 or 3 that would be the prime examples of the genre. This is going to be a lot of work, people.
Yeah.
I'm already going. No, I don't want homework.
Hey, it took us a long time to come up with the EriDan Film Festival.
It is true.
It started as the Monday Movie Club.
Yeah,
that is very.
Dave,
now you also have to figure out what the TV merch will look like.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming. Don't you worry.
Speaking of merch, Wade's shirt that has all the movies on the back of it, they're all washing away.
Well, it's like his memory of those movies.
That's because he wears it all the time.
He does wear it a lot, but I think we've washed it like 3 or 4 times, and they're starting to wear away and curl up. And...
Might be because they're too small.
Christmas is coming. Yeah. It's never too early to think about what you might be getting your loved ones for Christmas.
Yeah, we're not Nordstrom. We don't do returns. I'm sorry.
I'm just telling you.
We'll give you credit to the next one.
Good to know.
That's okay. I just wanted to let you know so that you can have quality control.
Well, and so what we'll do is we'll review the orders and figure out what shirt he would have ordered with that on it, because they do offer different quality of shirts, and some are cheaper than others. And maybe the cheaper one is what he, ended up with, and maybe we didn't make it available in a premium T-shirt. So I'll look at that, and we'll see if we can get
the list because the letters are so small.
That's what I think it is.
It is.
But at the same time, I've seen other shirts like that do fine. So, but I just thought you guys should know.
As it makes that adds to the retro look of it. Don't you see that? When you see a shirt that's faded a little bit, or it's because it's vintage.
Right. Can I add one more thing? Just
faded.
Yeah, exactly.
Vintage. You see how faded his Jaws shirt is? Perfect. Go ahead, Dan. What do you got?
It's 6:30 p.m. here, and it is 87 degrees right now.
Yeah.
That is crazy for Seattle.
We had a beautiful, cool day here today.
73 here today. It was nice today.
Tomorrow the high 61.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like boom, right back to normal weather. Friday, oh my god, it's gonna be gorgeous.
I just sweat all day in my truck. Don't worry.
I don't know how you're doing that.
It's great.
Oh goodness.
Free fat burning.
So I didn't realize I have one thing.
We still have to plan our conversation, just saying.
What?
We still have to plan our conversation.
Oh yeah, that we were gonna have the Twitch conversation. Because there's never a shortage of embarrassing EriDan footage.
Oh god, no.
Oh no.
It's always embarrassing for me.
Well, there's
nothing you did that was embarrassing. To me, at least.
Wow. See how the memory works? You might, disagree.
This.
Oh, well, Wednesday night I turn on the TV and I'm watching George and his friend Jerry. And I say, hey, baby, that's really cool. I'm a hip-hop happening fool.
They got Kramer with his real big hair. And they got Elaine, she sometimes stares. And I like to see their neighbor. His name, hello, Newman. Instrumental.
This is called an ad-libbed song. And it was Wednesday. I mean, think how long ago it was on Wednesday.
See, that's how hardcore.
I didn't even know that
back in the day. That was.
Oh, good. It wasn't a video, and
no, it wasn't a video. So there you go. See, and I stopped it there because I actually have no idea what comes up next. To save us both an even further embarrassment.
We had. I remember there were two girls in the room when we were singing that. Was it
one of which is my wife? And one of those is not yours.
No.
It's probably Chris.
No, it was probably Amy.
I'm just kidding.
Jen's friend Amy.
Okay.
In college.
Okay.
This would have been early.
Couple Geneva College girls.
Okay.
You know what they say about Geneva College girls?
What do they say?
They go to Geneva?
Exactly.
Today, it's funny.
Good.
This is weird. So you just mentioned Chris. June 27th, all day. I'm like, why does this day seem familiar? This was the day I was going to get married. To Chris 1 in 1992.
Wait,
Chris today would have been my Chris 1. Today would have been my 30th anniversary.
But it's not.
This is your anti-anniversary.
Today's my 30th anti-anniversary.
Anniversary? It's the anniversary?
Are we celebrating anti-anniversaries? Because I have one coming up.
Jeez.
I think we should. I think that would be
Chris 2, I never even said a date.
I was just thinking, did Geneva College allow you to watch movies? I thought I heard something about that one time.
What? See, this is how rumors get started.
Eric worked for Geneva College and went to Geneva College.
Yeah. Eric made movies at Geneva College.
Okay. See,
and had a TV show.
I thinking? What am I thinking of? There's
dancing.
This really
can't dance.
Dancing.
Dan, what did you go? Dan, what did you go to college?
Yes,
Robert Morris College. Business
what did
management.
you go for? Okay.
Business
when you go to
management.
their college, everybody's just dancing right on the sidewalks.
Dave, what did you go for?
There's so much.
Adam's got to be loving this. This is the most exciting part of the show.
Oh, yeah.
We have two movie people in here, and we have two library people in here. This is fun. We're starting to develop patterns.
When I was at CMU, George Romero was filming Creepshow there. So actually had blocked off Margaret Morrison Hall so Adrienne Barbeau could run through the hallways.
Cool. Were you an extra?
No, I was not an extra, but we saw some of it being filmed.
That's cool.
But you had played Dracula in high school. How could you have not been an extra?
I know. And then when I was working in Mellon Institute, he was filming Monkey Shines there.
Wow.
Dave, you were a vampire at a school production.
Yes, my sister I think was the prop master, and
What
Dave
show
was
was
like
this?
Dave was like famous to me.
I was Count Dracula, and Margaret was Wilhelmina.
In Dracula, like a play or a musical?
A play. It was a very questionable script. There was one line in it I remember well because we had to cut it because someone had fainted, and the line was "rub her wrists." But no matter how you said it, trying to wake her up was rubber wrists, and I was like, really, rubber wrists? So we had to cut the line because it just sounded ridiculous.
Was it?
Right.
Did Mr. Graham direct it?
No,
Okay.
it was the year that we had a new director that started that year because it was my senior year, and I'm sad to say I cannot remember her name, though I have the program somewhere.
Okay.
Was that the year that we had to go? No, that was earlier on when we had to do every school in the district went to Blackhawk High School because it was so cold. They didn't have heat. The heat was breaking, and like Chippewa Elementary, and we went half a day at the high school when I was in elementary. And my sister was in high
That's
school.
when I lived in Columbiana. I missed it. Dang.
Wow. I bet Adam's recording this.
No,
Yeah,
Adam's like, when I lived in New Orleans. So Adam, remember New Orleans? Remember Chapatoulas Street? Remember that? Remember how they say Burgundy instead of Burgundy for the street? I found that out quickly. I'm like, oh yeah, it's one over on Burgundy. They go, no, it's not Burgundy, it's Burgundy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This trip down memory lane is brought to you in part by
Mansplaining. Your coworkers will think you're so smart when you try mansplaining. Now available in all areas.
So in case you didn't get that, Stacy, mansplaining is when
Thanks,
See what he
Dave.
did there?
Thanks, Dave. I see what he did there.
I had somebody film in my high school for a movie one time. It was an HBO movie. It's random. I don't know. You guys were saying about.
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna get local
they
movies,
blocked off like our whole like cafeteria and our hallway. We had to like walk outside and then go through another door to get to our classes. And then they gave us Subway for like the inconvenience.
Oh, I want Subway for inconvenience.
Yeah. It was interesting.
I wish it were a better movie, but if we wanted to watch local filmed movies, watching Gung Ho would be fun.
Gung Ho and Kingpin and
what? A
Fish
Sudden
That
Impact?
Saved Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We've got to watch The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
Never seen that.
Mrs. Sofel?
Sean Miller's in The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
I can suggest a movie to never watch.
Oh, we
all
have
can.
What?
We all can.
We all can. Yeah. There
Some
was
of them
this
we've
one
watched on this show.
There was this one in college. Somebody suggested it. It was called Rubber, and it's like this tire that kills people.
Yeah. I suggest not watching that too.
That sounds like up there with
Watch
the
it.
Killer Tomatoes.
Hey, don't be ripping on Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Attack of the Killer
love that.
Tomatoes.
I have all four of those movies.
I think I watched a cartoon of that when I was younger, but I don't remember the movies.
So good.
Yeah.
I would never do that to anybody here.
I wouldn't
But you
suggest
have limits.
those kinds of.
Someday we will watch the pirate movie, but
All right,
I
here.
do have limits.
I'm going to share something that's going to get us kicked off, but who cares?
Don't kill him.
Are you ready for this?
Please don't kill him.
No.
Filmed in Pittsburgh. All right, you can't tell with it.
I can start.
Look at this guy right here. Right there.
There he is.
Whoa.
Good thing you weren't shorter.
Will you take
What was that?
But wait, there's one more shot. I walk out. Now wait for it.
Hey, over here.
Right.
It's me, Frank Cox.
Here I am here.
I need to talk to you. Don't believe the police. They're lying to you. McCabe is scared. The police
then-
can't find them. This gentleman, Officer Walker, is prepared to talk
When
to you.
did
Now,
it
you're
go?
in
Then I
the
become a
now.
cop, like 2 scenes later.
Well, you went through training quickly.
There's Chuck Thomas from Blackhawk.
So dramatic.
All right. I played too much, I'm sure.
I didn't even see the cop.
I know. I have to find it. Hold on a second.
That's hilarious. I love it.
It's like
So famous.
they go to shoot out the light, and I'm Dr. Koff now.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, that guy was just in the hospital.
Yeah.
That was you a lot. Like
He was undercover in the hospital.
he was. I don't know how I missed that watching that because I watched it with my sister and her husband years ago, and we totally didn't see you.
Wow.
Yeah. That was desperate viewing.
That's gotta hurt.
But I did see him in when Billy beat Bobby.
Yeah, in my 1970s year.
Yep.
I think this is it here. Hold on.
And Cody, I didn't go to school to be a librarian.
Oh, I know. I just meant like that you.
That's what
I
we
didn't
do.
mean. Yeah, I didn't mean. That.
Yeah.
I was trying to understand everyone's background stuff.
Okay.
That's a hairpiece, by the way, Michael.
You're-
I saw his hairpiece in the trailer. I walked by it.
Name drop. Oh.
I don't know if his hairpiece counts as a name drop.
Sure.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Ow.
Ow.
Oh my!
Oh,
I don't think
man.
that's.
Oh, he's so mad at that window.
That would have.
There it is, right there.
Window. Really hates that window.
I think we missed it already.
That wasn't real
All
clear.
right, here it comes.
I have the suspect naked.
Wow, that's a bad shot.
The inevitability of bullets always hitting the fence.
He's gonna shoot the light out. Oh.
We got kicked off.
I'm right there.
No, not you?
Oh, is that what
There's
happened? We got kicked off.
Wow.
There's me. All right. We'll stop it.
Wow.
There was Darcy Carden was recently on one of the talk shows because she filmed
We're
the
not on
new
Facebook
League of Their Own
anymore,
TV series in Pittsburgh or Pittsburgh area, and
Average.
she was really praising how much fun she had here and how much she liked the neighborhoods and everything. Yeah, I far cry Sienna Miller trashed the place after she filmed something here.
You know, we just had an author come to the Pittsburgh area for the first time and visit and do a program at CCBC, and he called his publicist after he was done and said, "Book me in Pittsburgh again." So he,
Baka.
yeah,
Well, there you go.
it was a really great thing. We had a lot of fun.
I saw on Facebook. Who was the author? I didn't know who it was.
It's Jamie Ford, and he wrote
Jamie Farr?
Ford.
Oh, okay.
Hotel on the Corner of Bitter and Sweet, based in Seattle.
Oh.
Yeah. And he lived there a long time ago. He doesn't anymore. But it was a really good book. It's from 2010. And he has a new book coming out. So he came to speak. It was really fun. It was really a good idea, a good program.
Cool.
But I had nothing to do with. I just was working.
That's so cool.
But it's
It
books.
It's books, and he signed mine, and it was good.
Cool.
And sadly, nobody was here making food tonight. So, you know.
I am Jake wants me to meet with them.
We're so glad Rebecca was able to join us. Rebecca, you were awesome to come on and suggest the movie and listen to everybody act like they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Only 4 more and you get an intro.
Yeah.
And Brian, I think you're only 2 more.
I think so. Yeah.
He's closing in tight.
Is this your third visit already?
Yep. It's that quick.
Yeah, third. Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy how fast that happened. All right. So next Tuesday night. So everybody enjoy your long weekend.
No Clutch Radio this weekend either.
Tuesday, I will be late because I work until 8.
Okay.
That rhymed.
I was gonna say the
Which
same
is
thing.
great.
It is great.
Well, we will take our time getting the show started since they're your movies, music and lyrics and Super 8.
Cool.
Very cool. All right, and also I believe by then the remainder part of Stranger Things will be out. So
yes, comes out on Friday.
Talk about there too.
So I can actually watch it all. Yes,
you could binge all weekend.
I'm not ready.
I'm gonna do
not
that.
Ready. I'm not.
Adam's
ready.
upset there's no Clutch. There's no Clutch because Rafi will be in Montana playing music. So
he's
we're
playing
taking the weekend
music.
off. What's that?
Playing music?
Yeah, Rafi is a musician as well.
I had no idea.
He's a fiddler.
Ah.
And then I have to prepare for my big comedy show where I'm going to do 5 whole minutes twice on Saturday.
Nice. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share before we go?
Any plugs? Anybody do anything?
All right, I'm going to share something hideous. that I found on TikTok. And this would be a great way.
You love your TikToks, Eric.
You
The money don't jingle jingle.
I love the TikToks, but I think, and this will get us kicked off, so it'll just end the show. But just depending on your musical taste, I have some people. I have a feeling some of the people here might find this interesting based on your musical taste. Wait, I gotta start this from the beginning. Hold on. Here we go. There we go. Feel that. There we go. Little video. Just
that this exists.
To include everyone. I tuck you in, all within, keep you free from sin, till the Sandman he comes. Sleep with one eye open.
What a mix. Wow. Who knew Metallica stole from Huey Lewis?
That's hilarious.
Now, that might not get us kicked off because they may not recognize. They're like, what is this?
Yeah, they may want to reclaim it. So yeah.
My friend was putting my friend kept putting original music up on Facebook. He wrote a song for his daughter's birthday, and he kept getting tagged with copyright infringements.
Oh yeah.
He's like, this is my song. I wrote this. Yes, Adam. Saturday, I'm opening for Chris Kattan here on the island, but it's sold out like right away. And the next one, September 17th, is the next show we're doing. So
when Chris Kattan's opening for you.
This name drop is sponsored in part by Death. It's closer than you think. Death is not available in all areas. Please consult your doctor to find out if death is right for you.
Wow.
Oh, death is right for me.
That's dark, Eric.
It's dark.
It's dark, and then it has Eric going, death.
As the oldest person here, I don't mind it.
All right.
When it happens, it happens.
Wonderful, wonderful week. Enjoy your 4th of July. Have a hot dog.
Are we scheduling this today? What are we doing?
What?
Tuesday at 8.
No.
Tuesday night.
The other conversation.
Oh, talk about Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch. We got to schedule something.
Okay.
Sometimes when it's not like, past my bedtime.
Yes, Adam. September 17th at the movie theater.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening, 4th of July. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Good night. Bye.
Good night.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.